Question 51. A team must choose a managed capability to build and host agents with tool calling and conversation state, rather than hand-rolling the loop themselves. Which Foundry offering fits? A. The Foundry Agent Service. B. A raw embedding endpoint. C. A translation flow. D. A DDoS plan. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer: A. The Foundry Agent Service. Why A is correct? The team wants a managed capability to build and host agents, support tool calling, maintain conversation state, avoid manually building the agent loop. That points directly to Foundry Agent Service. Microsoft describes Foundry Agent Service as using agents, conversations, and responses to support stateful, multi-turn interactions. An agent combines a model, instructions, and tools, while a conversation maintains history across turns. It also supports function tool calling, allowing agents to invoke custom functions and use the results to continue the conversation with real-time data. Question 52. A workload sends a steady, predictable volume of high-priority chat traffic that must return with consistent low latency at all hours, and the team is willing to reserve capacity to guarantee it. Which deployment type fits best? A. Provisioned throughput. B. A free tier deployment. C. Standard pay-as-you-go. D. Batch. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer: A. Provisioned throughput. Why A is correct? The scenario emphasizes steady, predictable traffic, high priority workload, consistent low latency, guaranteed capacity, willingness to reserve resources. Provisioned throughput is specifically designed for these requirements. It reserves dedicated model capacity so the workload receives predictable performance and throughput, making it ideal for mission-critical production applications with consistent demand. Question 53. A nightly job scores millions of archived records where results are not needed until the next morning, and the team wants the lowest possible per token cost. Which deployment approach matches this? A. A real-time streaming endpoint. B. Batch processing. C. Interactive standard deployment. D. Provisioned throughput. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer: B. Batch processing. Why B is correct? The scenario says nightly job, millions of records, results not needed until the next morning, lowest possible per token cost. This is a classic batch processing workload. Batch deployments are designed for large-scale asynchronous processing, cost optimization over speed, non-interactive workloads, jobs that can wait minutes or hours for completion. Since there's no requirement for real-time responses, the team should prioritize cost efficiency, making batch processing the best choice. Question 54. A startup with unpredictable, spiky demand wants to pay only for what it uses and get the largest available capacity without reserving anything. Which option is most appropriate? A. A provisioned reservation sized to peak. B. Batch only. C. A dedicated single region reservation. D. Global standard pay-as-you-go. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer: D. Global standard pay-as-you-go. Why D is correct? The scenario emphasizes unpredictable, spiky demand, pay only for what is used, no capacity reservation, access to large-scale capacity. Global Standard Pay-as-you-go is designed for this exact workload pattern. It allows applications to dynamically scale based on demand without requiring reserved capacity, making it ideal for startups and workloads with fluctuating traffic. Question 55. A financial institution must keep all inference request and response data processed within a specific geographic boundary for regulatory reasons while still using pay-as-you-go billing. Which deployment choice satisfies the residency requirement? A. A data zone deployment scoped to the required geography. B. Batch in any region. C. The lowest cost region regardless of location. D. Global standard. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer. A. A data zone deployment scoped to the required geography. Why A is correct. The key requirements are financial institution, regulatory data residency requirements, inference requests, and responses must remain within a specific geographic boundary. Still wants pay-as-you-go billing. Data zone deployments are specifically designed for customers who need data processing confined to a geographic boundary, such as the US or EU, while still benefiting from managed AI services and standard consumption-based pricing. Microsoft notes that data zones provide geographic-based deployments while maintaining data residency and processing within the selected geographic boundary. Question 56. A team already holds a provisioned reservation but occasionally exceeds it during brief spikes and wants those overflow requests served instead of failing. Which capability should they enable? A. A larger embedding dimension. B. A private endpoint. C. Spillover to standard capacity. D. A second content filter. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer. C. Spillover to standard capacity. Why C is correct. The scenario says the team already has provisioned throughput. Traffic occasionally exceeds the reserved capacity. They want excess requests served instead of being throttled or failing. Spillover allows requests that exceed the provisioned reservation to be routed to standard pay-as-you-go capacity when available. This helps maintain availability during short traffic spikes without requiring a larger reservation all the time. Question 57. An architect is organizing a Foundry environment where several related projects should share the same connected storage, key vault, and security configuration. Which structure provides that shared parent scope? A. A single flat blob container. B. A Foundry hub containing the projects. C. One resource group per model. D. A separate subscription per developer. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer. B. A Foundry hub containing the projects. Why B is correct. The question is asking for a shared parent scope where multiple related projects can inherit common resources and governance. Shared storage, shared key vault, shared security configuration, multiple projects underneath. A Foundry hub is designed to group projects together and provide shared configurations and resources. Microsoft documentation states that hubs group one or more projects together with common settings, including data access and security configurations. Question 58. A team wants their Foundry project to use an existing enterprise-managed Azure AI search, resource, and storage account rather than newly created ones. What must they set up? A. Connections to the existing resources. B. A public endpoint on a model. C. A new subscription. D. A blocked list. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer: A. Connections to the existing resources. Why A is correct. The scenario says the team wants to use an existing Azure AI search resource, an existing storage account, enterprise managed resources, instead of creating new ones. In Foundry, the way to reuse existing Azure resources is by creating connections to those resources. Connections allow a Foundry project to access and use existing services such as Azure AI Search, storage accounts, Azure OpenAI resources, Azure AI services, other Azure resources. This lets platform teams manage shared enterprise resources centrally while Foundry projects consume them. Question 59. A regulated customer requires that data stored by their AI services be encrypted with keys they control and can rotate or revoke, rather than platform-managed keys. Which configuration meets this? A. Disabling encryption at rest. B. IP firewall rules. C. Customer-managed keys stored in Key Vault. D. Default service-managed encryption. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer: C. Customer-managed keys stored in Key Vault. Why C is correct. The key requirements are: customer controls the encryption keys, customer can rotate the keys, customer can revoke the keys, regulatory compliance requirements. This is exactly what customer managed keys, CMK, provide. Question 60. An organization wants all traffic between its application and its Foundry resources to stay on the Microsoft backbone with no exposure to the public internet. Which combination should the architect configure? A. A stronger content filter. B. Private endpoints plus disabling public network access. C. A larger quota. D. Public endpoints with an API key. Pause the video if you don't want the answer yet. Correct answer: B. Private endpoints plus disabling public network access. Why B is correct. The requirements are: all traffic stays on the Microsoft backbone network, no exposure to the public internet, secure communication between the application and Foundry resources. The standard Azure architecture for this is: private endpoints. Provide private IP addresses for Foundry resources. Route traffic through Azure's private network instead of the public internet. Disable public network access. Prevents access through public endpoints. Ensures all access occurs through the private endpoint path only. This combination provides the strongest network isolation and is commonly used for regulated and enterprise environments. If this was successful, please like and subscribe so that you get notified when I've released new questions.